What's up, Gi.Joe collectors? How you guys doing? M.I.B Master coming back at you again with another awesome review. Today we will be discussing a new product that Hasbro and Gi.Joe put out in the early 2000s to kind of get the younger market involved. Wanted to really, this was geared towards more the kid market. It was called the Gi.Joe Double Duty series. As you can see, you can double the missions. Gear up Gi.Joe for double duty. He came with reversible uniforms, gear, equipment, tons of plate value, you know, accessories and weapons, things of that nature. This was completely geared at kids. You know, Hasbro was trying to figure out a way to kind of reignite and spark that interest from kids through more interaction with their action figures. And Double Duty was one of the brain childs spawned from that. And here you go. This is the picture, double the missions. This is Operation Tiger Hawk. Operation Tiger Hawk. As you can see, he can suit up in this fashion, or he can suit up in this fashion. The box alone jumped off the toy aisle shelves at you. I mean, you had to take a good look at these guys. You couldn't miss them. That was Hasbro's intent, to make the box art and all the equipment and the Joes themselves larger than life. They wanted you to, you know, vibrant colors, crazy colors, crazy outfits, uniforms, outlandish names, you know, Tiger Hawk, Operation Tiger Hawk. And he, you know, with this was the gimmick, was the double duty. You know, now you can get him and he can do 3 or 4 different things. So the play value was off the chart. Collectors, however, not so much. This guy didn't get a lot of attention. I want to say this set's from maybe 2001, 2002. But it didn't get a lot of attention from the collector community due to its, you know, it's what it was geared towards. It came off as kind of cheesy. But to me, being more of a museum type of a guy, because I'm collecting these pieces to really start my own museum. And so you can see how Joe has evolved, the very evolution of G.I. Joe and other action figures. So for me, it was perfect. And this is the Double Duty Tiger Hawk G.I. Joe in all his glory. As you can see, let's get a close-up of our star here. I mean, he had everything. And a lot of these, you're looking at some of this equipment and uniform pieces. A lot of this stuff is refurbished, reused equipment from Hasbro. They had a lot of stuff laying around. Hey, we can save time and we can save money, and we can put a product out that nobody really hasn't seen simply by using the things that we have at our disposal in our factories. And a lot of these parts and equipment and weapons were used throughout the Joe line, dating as far back as the early 90s with the Hall of Fame lines. So, but it allowed you as a consumer, he's got the gung-ho grip there, look at these weapons, but it allowed you as a, you know, let's say a kid that's seeing this figure, a lot of imagination space, if you will. I mean, just the ability to imagine and play. Now you can actually interact with this figure. I mean, you got the Nerf rocket launchers that you could just that actually shoot, and they're made them very safe. You see the little foam tips there. You name it, this figure had it. Let's turn the box around. Let me see. Move out soldier. 2 missions in 1 for double duty action. Awesome. Let's get him turned around. You have a great box art on the back. Let's get the date here. That was correct. 2001. And this is a Tiger Hawk, fully equipped with all the gear to complete 2 missions. So you got more bang for your buck. Price point, I might have spent $20 on this set. Probably around $20 on this set, somewhere around there, $24, which isn't bad. Here you got the recon mission, snap weapons onto jetpack. It walks you through all of the entire process of putting your Joe together, arming him and dressing him for different missions. Fun stuff. You know, if I'm a 10-year-old kid or you know, if I'm a young guy, hey, and you're into this playing with these guys, hours of fun. Hours of fun. Make no mistake about it, but once again, this is the beautiful this cartoon panel artwork here, telling you, walking you through the Tiger Hawk, Operation Tiger Hawk, the story, how he's preparing for his missions, how he's gearing up, and then he's re-gearing up. Look at those rocket launches. Great artwork. I mean, hats off to Hasbro, G.I. Joe. They did a phenomenal job with this, but they were simply at that point in time in the early 2000s, they were up against Microsoft and Xbox, Sony PlayStation. I mean, they just were up against these behemoths of companies with video games, and they were just fighting an uphill losing battle. Now they still had the hardcore collector community, you know, because once a G.I. Joe collector, always a G.I. Joe collector. So they still has, which is testament, you know. Like I said, I bought this in 2001. I believe I was 31 years old. So I mean, I wasn't gonna lose any type of momentum and being a G.I. Joe collector, because that's who I am. But at the same time, this was not geared towards me. This particular set, the Operation Tiger Hawk, was never geared towards a G.I. Joe collectors. It was geared towards the younger kids and that younger generation. And they just Hasbro simply couldn't gain any foothold on advantage-wise on that population. So, but it was a fun set. It had its time. It didn't do very well. Not at all. It didn't sell very well. They had a few more sets of the double duty that came out, and I'll be doing some reviews on those guys as well, because it was definitely dying out at that point in time. But I just thought it was, even at today, nearly 16 years later, to me it's still a pretty cool set. I like it, and it has a place in my, in my G.I. Joe collection, because it has a place in G.I. Joe history. And this was a point in time where, this guy was out, he was on the market, he was on toy store shelves across the country, across the world, and we can't forget that as G.I. Joe collectors. I mean, every Joe to me has his own place in G.I. Joe lore, if you will. And the G.I. Joe double duty G.I. Joe had, you know, it's no exception. Please, by all means, you have any comments, leave them on at the bottom of this video. I would love to hear from you guys on that. Just wanted to bring you a blast from the past, and extremely under the radar, forgot about, not talked about G.I. Joe and the G.I. Joe double duty figure, action figure, with tons and tons of accessories. Guys, that's going to do it for me here. As always, thanks for the love and support. God bless. And as always, keep collecting.